Welcome to the Activated Storytellers. It's midnight, everything's funny. Welcome. Ow! There are actually tears in my eyes. Welcome to the Activated Welcome to the Activated Storyteller 69th podcast. January 3rd, 2007.
No, try the date again.
January 3rd, 2007.
No, it's not 2007. Remember we just had New Year's?
January 3rd, 2008.
This week's story is The Frog Prince, a story from Germany.
It's a special bloopers edition of our podcast. Hi, I'm Dennis.
And I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Zephyr.
And together we are the
Activated Storytellers.
Well, welcome to 2008.
Already?
Yes.
We're 3 days into it, and so far I have not accomplished my New Year's resolution, which is to become world emperor before the end of the month.
Well, we wish you luck with that.
I was finally getting used to writing 2007 on my checks, and now all out the window.
Well, for me, it always lasts fine for like the first 3 weeks, and then about middle of February, I start writing 2007 again.
Okay, we're still in Orlando, Florida.
Well, we have left and come back, though.
We did leave and come back. We went to St. Augustine for a few days.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
Yes, Zephyr had a great time in St. Augustine.
We went to St. Augustine. They have a great park there in St. Augustine. Actually, St. Augustine is the oldest city in America. It's got a 400-year-old fort.
Yeah, Castillo de San Marcos.
And the oldest schoolhouse, the oldest street.
They've got the oldest schoolhouse, the oldest street, it's the oldest town, and it's also the least friendly towards street performers.
Well, I wouldn't say least friendly, but yeah, you had a little run in there, didn't you? Do you want to tell everybody about it?
Well, I had a fascinating experience with the police in St. Augustine while in character as Jack Sparrow, because apparently I picked the one street in the entire city where there is some obscure regulation about street performers. And their solution, of course, is to charge people a $100 citation.
Yeah, Zephyr's been trying his Jack Sparrow character out in a few locations, and he thought St. Augustine would be it is a great setting for Jack Sparrow. In fact, even at the end of one of the movies, they suggested that finding the Fountain of Youth would play into the next movie. And
the Fountain of Youth is in St. Augustine.
Right. So anyway, that was a great setting. Happened to be on the wrong street, and when he should have walked away with a warning, he did get a ticket, and it's virtually impossible to fight it.
Nonetheless, it was quite interesting. The police actually insisted upon personally escorting me off of the street. Of course, I did this all without breaking character, at least until we were off of the street, so that went kind of interestingly.
Okay, and we are back in Orlando now, and Zephyr has been going to Universal.
And do you have some comments about Universal Studios, your impressions, Mr. Theme Park Expert?
Still not quite a leg up on Disney. Disney's still definitely beating them in the running for just about everything. But they do have their act together, at least to some extent. Although I go around the park with my little notebook and I make notes and marks about every single little thing that I see. And I'm really quite much more picky about everything than most people actually really are.
Number one thing that you would change about Universal Studios?
Number one thing that I would change about Universal Studios? I would refurbish all the rides and put myself in charge of doing it. Far too much is spent on, a 60-minute wait in line for a 90-second experience, which is a formula that's tried and true, but also very, very tired. And my main complaint about lines is actually not one that I can really hold against Universal. It's more one that I can actually hold against the guests themselves. So please, 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 if you're going to go to a theme park and there's a single rider line, do not bring your entire family into the single rider line and then complain because the wait is too long.
Ah, okay.
Well, we have a story we'd like to do this week. We'd like to do The Frog Prince from Germany, Just Because the Earth is Round. Long ago, in Germany, there was a princess who was the daughter of a king, coincidentally. And one day, for her birthday, the king gave her a golden ball to play with.
Well, thank you, Daddy. I'm just going to go play with my ball over here by the pool. It's so pretty.
That's actually a well, sweetie, so don't try swimming in it, okay?
Oh, I won't, Daddy. Oh no. I dropped my ball down the well. Oh, whatever will I do?
Yes, she had dropped her ball in record time, but not to worry. She heard a voice.
Who make the droppings of a ball in my well?
Ah, the well, it speaks.
I am not talking of the well. I am a frog.
Ah, a frog, it speaks.
You make me sound like I am Frankenstein's monster.
Oh, I don't know what to say. Why, will you help me, Mr. Frog? Could you possibly get me my ball?
Yeah, okay. Hold your horses. I get your ball, okay?
Oh, very well. I'll go get the horses.
So the frog jumped into the well, which he did very well, and retrieved the ball.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Frog. I don't know how I can ever thank you enough. I appreciate it.
Well, if you really wanted to make thanking of me, you could let me stay in your castle.
Yeah, right. Ta-ta.
So she ran back home with her newly retrieved golden ball. And that night, as they were sitting down to dinner...
Oh, Papa, would you pass the salt, please?
I thought we had servants for that, but okay, here we go.
Oh, thank you. I caught it.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Frog.
Frog who?
Forgot something, didn't you?
Oh, nice to see you.
I didn't know about this particular friend of yours. Why don't you introduce me?
Well, you see, this here frog, he got the ball out of the well that I dropped.
You dropped the well?
No, the ball. I dropped it into the well.
But she dropped the ball very well.
I have heard that before. Anyway, so what does that have to do with him being here at dinner time?
Well, he's under the impression that I sort of told him that, he could come to the castle with me and all.
You did? Well, I think you should have consulted our calendar, but if you promised him, then he can stay.
Oh, Daddy, now don't make him stay, please.
Now, it's always important to keep your word, even to a frog.
But, Daddy...
Come on in, young amphibian. Come on in, have a chair here, and we'll get you a nice plate of flies to eat.
I'm so humiliated.
You like French flies? Boy, I never saw anybody snatch food off the table with his tongue before.
I am so embarrassed.
And after dinner, the frog kept leaping around on the furniture and getting into one thing and another, and the princess got more and more annoyed.
Why, I never...
Spider frog does whatever a spider frog does.
And the princess really got annoyed when the frog jumped on the hem of her gown and got mud all over it.
Why, that does it, you nasty little frog. You get out of here.
And she threw him against a wall. And lo and behold, a transformation took place. Besides the wall being broken, the frog suddenly turned into a handsome young prince.
Well, why didn't you tell me?
I am the prince that was formerly known as Frog.
Do I get to marry you now?
Now, this is awfully sudden, isn't it?
But, Daddy, he's a prince.
Yeah, but he just became a prince recently. I mean, and before then, he was of a rather more humble origin, if you know what I mean.
But, Daddy, isn't he dreamy?
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, thank you for consulting me in this matter.
And so the prince and the princess got married and lived happily ever after, warts and all.
Do you really have to hop everywhere we go?
And that's the story of The Frog Prince, a Grimm Brothers tale from Germany.
Ah, those Grimm brothers are at it again. All right, so the version I've always heard is she kisses the frog, but that's not what they wrote.
That's not what the Grimm Brothers wrote, and the Grimm Brothers, remember, didn't make up these stories. They collected them from folk sources. So this was the original version of the story.
More or less.
More or less. Well,
We activated it.
Yes, we spiced it up some. But in the original version of the story, she throws him against a wall. There is nothing about her kissing him.
Interesting. Now, I have to say, when we do our stage productions, they are scripted out and rehearsed, and we rehearse every action that we put into it. When we do these podcasts, we kind of go, okay, here's the story. You're going to play this part. I'm going to play that part. And as we're turning on the microphone, we have no idea what's going to come out of our mouths when we actually do this.
It's called improv, Mom.
Yeah, with a premise, though. We do know the story.
Yes, and that's why we enjoy it so much. We kind of fly by the seat of our pants quite a bit, and it's fun to do.
We also share one microphone, and I get to hold it and decide who talks next by pointing the microphone at them.
Okay, well, now coming up, we have our performance at the Miami Lakes Library.
Yes, we do. We're doing Shakespeare Shazam. This will be a scripted production. And if kids come, tweens to teens come, age 9 and up, you can come a half hour early and be in the show. We do practice ahead of time.
That's right. It'll be a scripted production as opposed to, improvised Shakespeare, because that makes sense.
So, all of you folks living in Milwaukee, why don't you come on down, get some warm weather, and see a Shakespeare show?
I think that's a great idea. Come on down. It's been about 80, 90 degrees down here. So, January 12th, that production will start at 3 o'clock. If you want to be in the show, be there at 2:30. We hope you're all enjoying your fabulous new year. You got to say it. May 2008 be great. And we thank you for listening to the podcast. If you really enjoy it and you think somebody else will enjoy it, please dig us. That's dig.com/activated. And all you have to do is give us a thumbs up, and it'll help other people find the podcast.
That's dig with 2 G's.
It is digg.com. We'd appreciate it.
And our next podcast, I think, is going to have a special guest, is it not?
Yes, we get a special guest for the next podcast, don't we?
We've had her on here before, and when was it that we had her on last?
Well, she's done a couple of podcasts with us in the past.
Okay, so we're going to breeze on out of here. Everybody have a great 2008.
Happy New Year!
The Activated Storytellers perform at schools and libraries nationwide. On stage, we use American Sign Language, physical comedy, imaginative props, and a giant, oversized book to bring the stories to life. For booking information, check our website at www.activated-storytellers.com, where you can also find out when the Activated Storytellers will be performing near you, read a story, or order one of our audio CDs. Until next time.